It has never been easier to get distracted from your zen, peaceful state and plunge straight into anxiety and stress. A single social media post can trigger a cascade of negative thoughts or emotions. Oh, I'm definitely missing out. Or, damn, I'm so far behind in life compared to these people. We all know that comparing ourselves with others is not healthy, yet we sometimes find ourselves in the process of doing it, despite our best efforts. And one such moment can completely ruin your mood and your day. Once anxiety has set in, it becomes so difficult to get rid of it. What's worse is that when you're anxious, there's little mental space left for motivation, excitement, or determination. It's all worrying and overthinking. And at the end of the day, you're not getting stuff done. So, in this video, I want to bring you some comfort, because I know what that's like, and there are many others going through the same struggles. The good news is that there is hope. With a few action points and mindset tweaks, you'll be able to keep anxiety under control and operate from a safer and more stable spot on a day-to-day basis, which will translate into greater motivation, higher energy, and improved efficiency in anything you do. Let's see the first one. You might not be in the best place right now. Things might not have worked out the way you wanted to, but hoping that they will get better with time is not a mistake. It's not a way of coping or becoming complacent. It's a way of living, because losing hope means giving up on the greatest gift we have ever received: life. There's this interesting passage in the introduction of Marcus Aurelius' Meditations where Gregory Hayes gives us a glimpse of the Stoic worldview. He says that one of the most important doctrines of Stoicism is the conviction that the world is organized in a rational and coherent way, that it is controlled and directed by a superior, commanding force. They call it logos, but you can see it as the nature, the universe, or God. The Stoics believe that all events are already predetermined by this logos, and people can't do anything to change the unbreakable chain of cause and effect. The only implementation of free will is found in the way you react to these events. Man is like a dog tied to a moving wagon. If the dog refuses to run along with the wagon, he will be dragged by it. Yet, the choice remains his: to run or to be dragged. While I don't agree with this idea that we can't have any influence in how our life unfolds, I'm a firm believer that it's our duty to do our best in any situation and not give up. It's our duty to run alongside the wagon and have hope that it will eventually stop moving. Life is a linear chain of events that ultimately leads to death, and we can't do anything to change that. But with whatever happens in between, we can always choose to see the light in the dark, to get the lesson out of each and every failure, and to stay positive and optimistic, because good days are coming up our way. When was the last time when you took a moment to detach from your problems and just feel what it's like to be present in the moment? Notice how I said detach and not distract yourself with other activities. Just take a moment and feel what it's like to be alive. Feel the light breeze against your face. Listen to the innocent chirping of birds. Breathe the nature's scent. If you haven't tried this in a while, let me remind you. It's peaceful. In that moment, there are no problems, no due assignments, no drama, no fear. It's just you and the nature, you and the world. And that's what anxiety is afraid of, because it wants you to worry. It wants you to constantly work on finding solutions to real or imaginary problems. Anxiety is afraid of the present moment because it has no control over it. The brain can only rationalize the past or think about the future, but here and now, it can only be a spectator. And that is what it's all about. Taking a moment to appreciate everything that there is. One of the main differences between the West and the East is that the Western philosophy is concerned with doing, and that's making money, having social status, building a successful career, and so on. While the Eastern philosophy is more focused on being happy, connecting with nature, finding peace. A happy and fulfilling life will have these two in balance. However, one of the things I've noticed in myself, and maybe it applies to you as well, is that the effortless access to technology has somehow influenced me to invest more and more time into doing stuff, to the point where I forget to get out of my head and just enjoy the present from time to time. And that translates into anxiety. I mean, with so many things to do, how could you not worry? I don't know much about parenting as I'm not a parent, but if I had to make an educated guess, I'd say that being present with your child is much more important for them than any material possession you could provide. A child doesn't value money or a phone or stuff like that more than they value your presence, being there with them and for them. And sometimes that's what life wants from us as well, to just detach, be present, and spend some quality time together. It's okay to be afraid. Everyone is in certain situations, and that doesn't make you a coward. It doesn't make you different in a bad way. It's just the natural response of your body, and you can't do anything to influence whether you're scared or not. So there's no point in worrying about it. What you can do, however, is take action despite being afraid. Because in 99% of the situations, growth happens while going through adversity. When things are hard, that's when you're forced to step up and improve. There's this great scene in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon series. It's about accepting and overcoming your fears. And even though it's just a cartoon, I believe there's a lot of value to get out of this particular scene. So, in short, one of the turtles, Leonardo, used to have a crippling fear of heights. His master, Splinter, tried everything to help him overcome it, like giving him advice, words of encouragement, and training him over and over again. But nothing worked. Every time Leonardo found himself at a great height, he was instantly paralyzed with fear. Until one day, when Splinter changed his approach. He figured he needed to be a little more dramatic, and so he purposefully created a situation where it looked like his life was in danger. He seemed to have gotten stuck hanging from a sewer pipe, and it was just a matter of time until he would fall from a high altitude and die. Now, Leonardo was still afraid, but this time something more important has taken over the fear in his mind. He had to save his master, and so he focused and did what had to be done. During this rescue mission, his fear of heights vanished, because there was something more important to do than to be afraid of heights. And that's exactly the lesson that Splinter wanted to teach Leonardo. Fear stands no chance in the face of a strong purpose. Or you can look at it this way: if the consequences of not taking action are scarier than confronting your demons, that's enough of a reason to do it. And this applies to other real life situations as well. If I don't force myself to be friendlier and talk to people, I'll always be shy and alone. Or if I don't go through the discomfort of exercising and eating healthier, I'll never get in shape. Obviously, you can take this mindset and apply it to whatever is important for you to achieve. What's vital to understand is, again, it's okay to be afraid. You need to accept that fear. And if you want to overcome it, it's just a matter of finding a strong reason to go through with it. Whether it's something scary that you want to avoid, or an outcome that you want to achieve, there's no other way to get it than to go face your fear. I had a hard time convincing my brain that this is not true. I used to think that expecting the worst would allow me to prepare for the eventuality of failure. At that time, my mind was constantly preoccupied with finding the best way to react in case things don't work out, and it does become tiring after a while. If you always think about the negative outcomes, you'll always be in a state of worry, panic, or fear. That's precisely anxiety. Like Sisyphus from the Greek mythology, my only concern was to push the boulder uphill, hoping to reach the peak and find a solution to the tiresome overthinking. It took me a while until I realized it wasn't as helpful as I thought it would be. Being pessimistic didn't prepare me for anything. All it did was shift my focus away from the positive outcomes, and it hit me at one point. How could I have succeeded when success wasn't even an option in my mind. Like, imagine being stranded on an empty, remote island. What's the first thing you should do? Well, the best approach would probably be to start a large fire to let the other people know you're there and you need rescue. The worst pessimistic approach would be to completely ignore making the fire, because you think nobody's looking for you anyway. So you just look for food and try to survive for as long as possible. You see, always expecting the worst is like breaking your own wings before even attempting to fly. It's not a good mindset. There's enough optimism for everyone, so do yourself a favor and think about succeeding. It's a lot more fun. Believe it or not, a large part of the anxiety we feel every day comes from things we have absolutely no control over, like overthinking some mistake we've made in the past. Damn, I gave up too quickly, I should have kept trying just a little bit longer. Or stressing too much about what other people think about us. I used to do this a lot, and honestly, I'm still guilty of doing it sometimes. It's just not that intense anymore, because what I realized is that no amount of overthinking will help me find a solution to these problems. In fact, there is no solution. The Stoics used to say this all the time. Don't worry about the things you cannot control. It's a waste of time, energy, and mental resources. One place where the Stoic mindset completely changed the way I see things is with jealousy in relationships. I used to think that being jealous would somehow protect the relationship, that I would be able to take the correct approach and make the right choices to prevent bad things from happening. But in reality, jealousy only makes the relationship worse, because first of all, you'll always be anxious, stressed, and you lose the ability to enjoy it altogether. The relationship will become a drama and a chore instead of an enjoyable addition to your life. And second, you'll underestimate your partner's loyalty. If they haven't given you any reason to be jealous, then acting like that is insulting for them. If you don't trust each other, how could you create a deeper and stronger connection? You can't. So the relationship is doomed to fail at some point. What clicked for me is this: if they want to cheat, your worrying will do nothing to stop it. And if it does happen, you'll end it right then and there, because you'll be better off without them anyway. And obviously, if they're truly loyal, then worrying about cheating is a complete waste of time. So save your mental health and energy and just give them the benefit of the doubt. Until they slip up, trust them. Assume the best, but act decisive when you're proven wrong. And that would be it for today. If you enjoyed the content, I would really appreciate if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more of this. Thank you for staying until the end, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye!